Good afternoon, everybody. Let's take a look at your headlines on this Labor Day. Law enforcement is ready for whatever the Labor Day holiday has in store. Plus, a car crashing into a local business over the weekend. And local fishermen still have time to catch more red snapper. Those stories and more coming up on News 5 Now.
Brought to you by Green & Phillips Injury Lawyers, covering news from your neighborhood and around the world. News 5 Now starts right now.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to News 5 Now on this Monday afternoon, Labor Day. I'm Devin Walsh. Glad to be with you. I hope all of you have had a wonderful Labor Day weekend, and maybe you're off and you're just chilling at home and enjoying this Labor Day Monday, or maybe you're in the car on the way back from wherever. I just hope you had a great weekend, and I hope you have a nice week ahead. So let's take a look at our big stories at this hour. We are just learning that former Alabama Crimson Tide and Dallas Cowboys linebacker Leroy Jordan has died at the age of 84. Jordan was a first-round pick by Dallas in 1963 and helped lead the Cowboys to their first Super Bowl in 1971. He was also the first player ever inducted into the team's Ring of Honor by owner Jerry Jones. Number 4, if you plan on doing some fishing this Labor Day, you have some extra chances to take home red snapper. The Alabama Department of Conservation and Natural Resources announced that the recreational red snapper season is extended. Fishermen have harvested about 2/3 of the season's quota. The recreational season will continue until that quota is met. Number 3, an SUV crashed through the front of Sage Health on Airport Boulevard in Mobile yesterday morning. The driver was hospitalized. We don't know what caused the crash, but police believe it was an accident. Number 2, Mobile police are investigating a shooting that left 2 men injured. The gunfire also hit several parked cars, including a police vehicle. The shooting happened early yesterday morning on St. Stephen's Road. Officers blocked off the area for a few hours, placing crime tape around the parking lot of a nearby bar. Officials say 2 men were arguing right before the shooting. And number 1, be careful if you're about to hit the road on this Labor Day holiday. The Alabama Law Enforcement Agency said their troopers are ready for the rush with increased patrols on the roads, the water, and even by air. And that is a look at our big stories at this hour. I was going to say, I don't know if you can speed out there because there is so much traffic. We're looking at our traffic cameras, and boy, is that traffic picking up. So you're probably not going to be able to speed. Just pack your patience is all I can say, because this is one of those days when it is not fun to be on the roads. I came back yesterday, spent some time in Fairhope over the weekend, came back yesterday about 4:45, 4 o'clock, somewhere in there, and I was like, oh, I'm going to be sitting on the causeway, but I wasn't. There was no one on the roads yesterday, so I think everybody was probably waiting to leave until today, waiting until the very last minute. I don't blame them, because it was definitely a beautiful weekend here along the Gulf Coast. Okay, our question of the day is something we asked you on Friday, and we usually leave up the question for the weekend. Where were you when Hurricane Katrina made landfall 20 years ago? As you know, Friday was the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, and a lot of people were recalling their memories from that time. Alvin says, I came to Mobile from California to help Mobile's recovery. Read about it in my new book, Alabama Buttermilk by Alvin Alabama Lovett. Ethel says, in Tibby on my back porch trying to stop my refrigerator from hitting my back glass door while my son and husband were trying to stop a leak that my son had on a faucet outside. Wind was strong, pushed the refrigerator across there, pinned me against the door. She wasn't hurt, she says. They just started laughing, but fortunately that was, all that happened with them. Alicia's recalling being at home with a 3-month-old with a stomach bug. That's horrible. Well, if you were a nurse, you were at work like me, said Frank. In a barn with 22 horses, we couldn't get out before the storm on the west bank of New Orleans. I've heard so many different stories about horses. In fact, I used to read a little book to my daughter called, I'm trying to think about it, I think it was Molly the Horse, and Molly was injured. and was stranded, left behind in Hurricane Katrina in a barn. A lot of farmers and folks who owned horses ended up having to leave them, and so she was rescued. But then she was bitten by a dog and had to have a prosthetic leg. That was such a good little book. We read that for a long time, and she was really an inspiration to a lot of people. All right, Kenny says, keeping gas in a generator 24/7 for a pregnant wife so she could have AC from a window unit. Very long 2 weeks without power. Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things that a lot of folks around here remember is just no power. For some people, up to 2 weeks. Boarded up my sister's house, sleeping in her living room in Fairhope. All of my friends were in town from Louisiana. Yeah, Terry says, rode it out 5 miles inland in Gulfport with wife and son, also a cat, dog, and 2 horses. Not something that I ever want to go through again. We made it through, but we were in a daze for a long time. I mean, there are so many really traumatizing memories from so many people. Everybody has so many unique stories, and it affected so many people from Louisiana to Florida that it's not like one little small area was impacted. It impacted a whole lot of people. All right, everybody. Now let's get to our poll of the day. Have you ever buried a time capsule? Have you ever buried a time capsule? And we were asking this story because Princess Diana's 1990s time capsule was open. And so we were just curious, have you ever buried a time capsule? Let us know, yes or no. That's very, very curious. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for me for News 5 Now. Thank you for joining me. Cherish is off today, so I'll see you back for the 4 on 5 on WKRG. And then I'll see you for WKRG News 5 at 5 with Peter at, again, 5 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.
Covering news from your neighborhood and around the world. You are watching News 5 Now, brought to you by Green & Phillips Injury Lawyers.
In the courtroom, the judge knows best, and this judge does too. If you've been hurt in a wreck, you need a law firm that knows the system and how it works. I'm attorney David Green. Call or come by anytime. You never need an appointment.